Hello everyone! In this video I'm going to be talking about the full primary results from the elections in New York and Maryland that took place last night. As you can tell, I put the election music background for a purpose because we have a lot to discuss in this video that really couldn't be discussed last night, and I can finally go in-depth about the districts and the races in particular. Well, the congressional districts in New York, I mean, but obviously the other races that were a concern of mine here in Maryland. So, without further ado, let's go to the desktop screen and I will show you the results from last night. I'm going to start off with the races in New York first, and then we will go to the results from Maryland. First up, District number 1. It looks like Perry Gershon has won that primary race. His closest competitor was, of course, Kate Browning. Let me just make sure we have the names correctly, of course. Kate Browning, yes. That's why I like to double check my information first before I go off topic, of course, and get confused. So the results were for Perry Gershon, 7,226 votes. Kate Browning had 6,159 votes, so that's 35.5%. And of course, 30.3% for Kate Browning. Now, this race wasn't officially called in District 2 until the wee hours of the morning, but it looks like Louisa Shirley overwhelmingly won District number 2 last night, defeating Dwayne Gregory. Louisa Shirley with 6,938 votes. That's 58.2% of the vote. Dwayne Gregory, over here, 4,983 votes at 41.8%. So, see, an overwhelmingly amount of Democrats did vote for Louisa Shirley. So the full results from District number 11. District number 11 were as follows. Dan Donovan with 12,774 votes. So overwhelmingly the majority did support Dan Donovan. They realized that Michael Grimm honestly was not the right candidate, even though he previously had served that district, but he went to jail for tax evasion. So the Democrat taking on Dan Donovan actually was in the military. So we'll pull it over here. Max Rose, a post 9/11 combat veteran. I mentioned him earlier, so it will be Max Rose with an overwhelmingly amount of votes in this district right here, District number 11, that represents Staten Island and Western Brooklyn, 10,712 votes with 64.7% of the vote. See over here. So, yeah. Now, we're going to go to District number 14, one of the biggest upsets in modern political history. Joe Crowley right here, losing to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So, a lot of conservatives are not happy about this woman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because first of all, this is her first time she's ever run for a public office, number one, and number two, many people are just not happy that, she really doesn't have that much experience, and the fact that she's only 28 years old. I'm only 22, and that even makes me look like a laughingstock, but yeah, let me just highlight it right here. These are the results from last night, so she won overwhelmingly, 4,000 more votes than Joe Crowley, 15,897 votes for Alexandria Cortez, 57.5% to Joe Crowley, with 42 1.5% with 11,761 votes. And then, of course, District number 19, it looks like Antonio Delgado will be taking on John Vaso in the general election in District number 19. The thing was in this district right here. Let's go down. Let me make sure, because it didn't even look like Pat Ryan was. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out who's this Rhodes guy. Pat Ryan, Brian Flynn. That's odd. So, yeah, here we go. Gareth Rose is a former Andrew Cuomo staffer. Right, so Garrett Rose. See, this is why I had this article up, so I can at least give you the right information. So Garrett Rose was in second place. I was surprised because I thought Pat Ryan was going to be in second place. I honestly thought he was going to be in second place. So, let me just highlight it. Antonio Delgado with 7,690 votes, 21.9% of the vote. You have Mr. Rhodes. Let me highlight his name again. Garrett Rhodes. Let me make sure you have his name highlighted right here so you all can see it right here. Garrett Rhodes. That's the guy in second place, so we'll highlight his numbers right here. 6,442 votes, 18.3%. And of course, Pat Ryan, third place, which third place ended up being very competitive, but you had a tie for fourth place in this district, so that's interesting. So now that we got the results from New York out of the way, we will go to, of course, Maryland. Yes, Maryland. It is official. The former president of the NAACP, Ben Jealous, will go on to take he will go on to take on Mr. Larry Hogan in the general election come November. Rashawn Baker, I mentioned him last night, got the endorsement of former Governor Martin O'Malley. Here are the numbers right here. 40% for Ben Jealous, 220,058 votes. Then Baker got 161,966 votes. And let's keep in mind here, maybe the extra numbers came in late because a couple places in Baltimore County were having issues last night with their polling. So that's why we really couldn't get the accurate amount of numbers from last night. So Ben Cardin, obviously in the Senate, overwhelmingly won that race. The incumbent senator from Maryland. This race was pretty much a joke. Chelsea Manning only got 6% of the votes, but she got 32,205 votes. So they thought maybe Jerry Siegel or Debbie Wilson would have a chance. Well, people were wrong because they didn't even get that many amount of votes last night. So obviously, in that situation, you'd say to yourself, well, who's going to be the Republican then? Well, you have Tony Campbell. That's who's going to be taking on the incumbent Ben Cardin in the fall. So we'll quickly take a look at Ben Cardin. We'll Google him. Let's see what comes up when you look up the name Ben Cardin. Alright, Ben Cardin. Ben Cardin was an American politician serving as a senior United States Senator for Maryland. So that's him, of course. Oh, my bad. I wanted to look up Tony Campbell. Excuse me. I just wanted to look up how long he's been in office. So he's been in office since 2007. Wow. So he's been in office now for 11 years. So let me look up Tony Campbell. Who is this guy? So apparently Tony Campbell, let's look him up, about Tony. we'll get more information about him. 'Cause I figured, might as well learn more about somebody and do a little bit of an educational background, I guess, about Mr. Tony Campbell. So, Tony Campbell is a college professor at Towson University, focusing on political theory, metropolitan studies, and a survey course on religion and politics. Mr. Campbell also served his country in the United States Army and as a chaplain, and reserved his doctorate from Liberty University. He wrote 2 books. So basically, he's a college professor talking about politics. And he will be the nominee, taking on, of course, the current incumbent in the fall, Ben Cardin. So, I honestly want to keep an eye on this race, because it looks like Tony Campbell might get some attention here in Maryland. We'll have to see about that. And hopefully, Larry Hogan will do the right thing and endorse him in the election, of course, because obviously, as I said earlier, Mr. Hogan has to worry about his own issues later on in the fall, taking on Ben Jealous. So we'll go down very quickly. I want to go to the biggest news of the night for me, and I'm in a very good mood after hearing about the news last night. It looked like at 10 o'clock Chris Heiser was going to lose. It looked like she was going to lose. Well, guess what? She will be the next Worcester County State Attorney. Yay! The official numbers from last night: 2,606 votes for Miss Heiser, 52% of the votes. Bill McDermott, 2,431 votes. So it was a pretty close race. That's why I think it wasn't called until the wee hours of the morning. But I do want to congratulate Chris Heiser on winning her election last night. Very good for Worcester County. I mentioned earlier that she was the county prosecutor, and now she's going to move on to become the next state attorney for the county of Worcester. So very good news that here in Ocean City, here in out in Berlin, the whole county is going to have a strong conservative voice, and this is what we need right now. Very good job from her last night. And of course, we'll just find out who our sheriff's going to be. Matt Christofoli. He won last night, 2,274 votes. So this ended up being close last night as well between Mike McDermott and Mr. Christofoli over here. So, yeah, that's going to wrap up the results from last night's primary results in New York and Maryland last night. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, take care.